of camp that, we're going to learn a lot about Cal in the first 3 games. So what would you say that you learned?
Well, I think there's some good and some bad. I mean, I think that's what you expect is to. You don't expect it to all be good. Certainly, I think the good thing we learned is that our kids are going to play hard, regardless of the situation they're in. And I think that is, of all the things in your program, that's point A. And you got to get to point A before you can get to point B. And they have to do it consistently. And we've seen them do that. Saw them do it, week 1, saw them do it week 2, and saw them do it week 3. And even though we got off to some bad starts in those games, guys played hard, and we got back in the game and gave ourselves a chance to win. Not quite good enough yet at this point to be able to win against a good opponent. We've made too many mistakes and missed too many opportunities, but I think that's the most important thing. I think in some ways we're probably a little ahead of where we thought we'd be offensively, and probably a little behind of where we thought we'd be defensively. And so I think and our special teams are probably ahead of where I thought they'd be. So, as I said, there's some good things and some bad things. We'll see how resilient our bunch is. I think it's been resilient up to this point. We had a really good day of practice today. I really liked what I saw, effort-wise, intensity-wise. So I think our attitude's really positive. And I think that's a positive. And again, those are all things you can build on. Obviously, as we know, we've got to shore up some areas of our team and continue to get better. But the thing is, there's a lot of people in the country that haven't played anybody. That may be 3-0 right now, and they're getting ready to start conference play or getting ready to start conference play in a week, and they think they're pretty good, and they're really not. And so I think we know where we are, and we know where we have to improve. And as I said, I'd put our schedule that we've played up against anybody in the country, and and for a young football team, we've done some good things.
Is shoring up the defense a matter of getting your guys to play better, or are there some schematic things you can do differently?
Shoot, there's everything. I mean, it's just like there's schematic things we can do better on offense. I mean, it's the same. It's always the same. I mean, we can do stuff better schematically, defensively. We can get our players playing better. We can stay healthier. All the stuff, And so all of it's a process, and part of it's figuring out who we have, and I think the thing we've got to do is leave. We've been moving guys around. We need to put them someplace and leave them. And we've had to do that out of necessity, but we need to put them someplace and leave them in order to develop them. And so I think that's where we're headed.
Do you have enough bodies in the front group to do what you've been doing with the 4-man front? But do you have enough healthy, able guys there?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously Jacoby Hunter's been a pleasant addition that we weren't really counting on in terms of coming in and having an impact like he's had. So I think we have enough bodies. The funny thing about it is, it's like we've talked about before. I mean, everybody, the odd front's really 3 defensive tackles is what it is. And so, and what we have now is we certainly have enough defensive ends. We certainly have enough tackles if we're only playing with 2. If we were playing with 3, we'd be in some trouble.
Cochran looked like he was walking around.
Yeah, Cochran's going to be out. Probably going to have surgery on Thursday. Probably be out for a month at least. Got a high ankle sprain. Going to fuse the bone back together in his ankle, I think.
Crosswhite takes his spot.
Yeah, we'll see. We're gonna have some competition at a bunch of spots on the offensive line, which will be good for our guys.
Left tackle kind of up for grabs right now. Look like Okafor is getting some work.
Heck, they're all up for grabs.
Every spot,
pretty
much.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, like I said, it's that way all the time.
Is Tyndall in that mix as well? Or?
Yeah, Tyndall will get in the mix some, and Okafor will get in the mix some, and Crossway will get in the mix some, and we'll see how it plays out.
Is Tyndall just going to be a tackler?
We're going to bounce him around a little bit. Probably could play both spots.
Right. Is this the kind of thing you need to do to keep your guys understanding they need to compete and keep getting better?
Yeah. And this is, if we were 3-0 and ranked 5th in the country, we'd be challenging guys, and I don't know if we were ranked 4th in the country if we would be, but if we were 5th, we probably would be. Challenging our guys and making sure that the guys are playing as well as we think they are. I mean, that's what you want to do is, if you have a guy like Freddie that's got tremendous potential, you want him to play to that potential. You don't want him to be satisfied, and so, we're going to challenge guys.
How do you think he's playing?
I think he's played adequate, not as well as he can play.
What do you think about Willis? How do you think, looking at the film, how do you think he filled in at that left?
I thought he competed hard. I mean, he's obviously, got some technique things he's got to get better at. But I thought he competed hard. I thought he played physical, tackled pretty well. I think he's getting more comfortable every day. It seems like he's, breaks on the ball a little faster, has a little better understanding of what's going on.
Is that spot really up for grabs too? Lapite played most of it in the nickel set a lot. Is that kind of
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's same deal. We're trying to find figure out who the best four on the back end are. Are we better off with playing three linebackers and McClure and Cam as our corners, or are we better off with McClure and Lapite in there? And so those are just decisions that we're going to have to make as we move forward.
Are you hopeful that by a week from Saturday you might have Forbes playing?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, if he practices, good and looks good in practice, and then there's a possibility we'll see how he plays. We just got to get him to where he's, practices well.
So you're a long way away from declaring him ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, he'll declare himself ready to go by how well he practices. Yeah.
What about Alex Logan? I didn't see him out there today.
Yeah, he was out there. He's, he's got dinged a little bit Saturday. He'll be back. I mean, he'll be back this week.
Can you talk about your kicking and punting have been pretty good so far?
They have been, yeah. D'Amato's really been solid, and he's really kicked the ball off probably better than we expected up to this point. He's been really effective kicking it off, and we've covered pretty well. Cole's been good. I mean, it's been a good group. It has been. I mean, we've kind of sprayed it around a little bit more at times at punter than we need to. He's just got to be a little more accurate sometimes where he's positioning the ball. We're asking him to punt it in certain spots based on coverage and returns and that kind of thing. And but he's been very solid. I mean, he's much improved from the spring, and I think he's going to have a good year.
What do you think about just kind of the timing of this bye week for you guys? Could be maybe a good positive to get some guys back.
Yeah. No, I think it is. I think it's definitely a positive. I mean, I think when you haven't played well, I think it's always good for you to get a little extra work. So I think it's positive. I mean, from an injury standpoint, from just getting refreshed in a weird sort of way, it's almost the middle of the season just from the fact we've been going at it for 4 weeks, in fall camp. And so we're basically 8 weeks in. And so I think that's in some ways the middle of the year. It may not be game-wise, but in terms of the way we've been practicing, it's good to have a little bit of a break.
And when you have an extra week to start game planning already for Oregon, or do you?
Yeah. We worked on some Oregon stuff today. I mean, you always want to focus on the fundamental stuff when you've got some time off like we did, but Oregon's pretty unique in what they do, and so they'll require a little bit extra time to get ready for it.
With an extra week, are you expecting to see a step forward from your team a week from now?
Oh, sure. Heck yeah. You want to see that every week. Yeah, regardless of whether or not you have an open date. We'll get tested. I mean, Oregon's good on both sides of the ball. I think it's probably the best, probably on both sides of the ball I've seen them, since I've been watching them, which has probably been the last 4 or 5 years. I think they're as efficient on offense as they've ever been, as fast as they've ever been. And then defensively, I think they're probably playing better than they've ever played.
How many plays will there be in that game?
Same deal. I mean, I would think a lot. Yeah, because I guess we're getting a bunch. So
you're averaging 95. You're averaging far more than they are.
Yeah. Well, they're scoring a lot more than we are. So that's probably part of it.
Yeah.